Hey guys, welcome back to Linda's Resin Room. So I've had a couple of people ask me how I made this mold and if I would do a video of it. So I thought that's what we would do today. All I did was I used this holographic window film that I got off of Amazon. And that's all it is. It's just a holographic window film. And I think I'm going to use... which flower do I want? This one's a little different. It's smaller. You pick out your flower that you want to use and you cut it out. That one's not got enough paper at the bottom, really. I kind of like this one. It's not got much of an edge either, but I think I could still make a small one work. Maybe. Might be safer just to use this one here. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this to be a little bigger than what I want. Because I'm not exactly sure which piece I want to use. I'm not going to make a round mold since that one's round. Thought we might shape it a little different, but do the same thing. So, cut out my piece. Now, I could do an oval and get both of those and do a tray, which would be really pretty. So maybe that's what we'll do. Make sure you have your holographic side up. The bottom side is smooth. I'm going to leave this on for extra protection, but this one actually has a piece that peels off on the back. And it sticks to a window. It's not sticky at all. So I'm just going to take some packing tape, because we want this piece to be completely flat and level when we pour our resin in it. Otherwise, it will be, it'll kind of be wavy. It'll warp it a little bit. This is a thick plastic, so it holds up pretty good with the resin. And like I said, I just need it to be completely flat, and I'm taping this down. And I probably should have taped it to my table, not the silicone mat, but doesn't matter. So we are just going to make sure we get a good flat level surface on our window film. Okay, I think that's going to work really well. Take that to the bottom maybe. Okay, and it's flat. Well, it's got a little bit of a bend in it. Let's see if I can get it. This is why I do it. I like to do it to the table instead of to the silicone mat, because it seems like the silicone mats don't hold flat as well as the table. Okay, it's flat. That looks good. All right, now we are going to weigh out our silicone. Now, when I usually do this, let me find me a pair of gloves here. I wear gloves with the silicone just because of my fingernails, and I don't want the silicone to get trapped under them. But you don't have to wear gloves when you're mixing this up. Just make sure you're zeroed out. The last time I used the Let's Resin silicone putty part A, part B, but as you can see, I'm out of it. So I'm going to try this that I got off of Amazon, silicone putty AB 1:1 ratio. Same thing. And let's see, for just a regular size, I use 100. So I think I might go with 75 each and do 150 and see if we can get a little tray. Okay, I'm not sure how this is going to do, because like I said, this has a work time of all of about 5 minutes. Same way with the Let's Resin. So I got too much. The Let's Resin has a work time of about 3 minutes. So you really have to work fast when you do this. And it's a little oily. Just a smidgen more. Okay, 75.1. Now I have this nonstick paper that I'm just going to lay it on. And I'm hoping, well, if I can get that lid back down in there. I'm hoping this silicone putty works well, because I haven't used it before, so I'm not real sure. Now part B. We're just going to mix these two together. It just takes a minute or two until it has a good uniform color and there's no white streaky mess through it. It'll be a pale green, this one. And you cannot eyeball this stuff, because when you think one looks about the same, it never is. Okay, 75.3 and 75.1, close enough. Cover this back over and get the lid on it. Those lids do not fit very well on those. But it hasn't dried out, so I suppose it's okay. All right. I'm going to get all of that off there. Now, we just mix it until we can get it mixed completely up. No more white streaks. This is kind of like mixing Play-Doh. It's kind of what it feels like. When grandbabies come over, they have to play with Play-Doh. And you can see how it's a little streaky, and you can see the different colors and the white. We just want to get rid of all of that. I probably should have had all my pearls already over here, because pearls is what I used. And I'm not real sure where I even put them the last time. I need to find those. Okay, I've got some in here. And then I've got some bigger ones over here. See if I can find what container has them in. There they are. Okay. These are really big. All right. Like I said, this doesn't take long. It looks like it's done. Roll this into a little snake. Well, it's not mixed up very well there. Okay. Roll it into a snake. You want it to be kind of a little on the thicker side, because we're going to put this right around our flower. And I want this all about a uniform size. We're just going to have to do one flower. I didn't mix up enough to make a big one. So, okay, let's just kind of just make an odd little shape mold here. And I've got my flower in the center, so that will work there. Now, what I do is I like to go around and try to press this down onto that, just the bottom, to get a good little seal. And it doesn't always work very well. My fingernails get in it. Sometimes it's better to use these little silicone tipped brushes. Like I said, we do not have a very long work time at all with the silicone putty. And it's a rush. I do have some that you can work for about 20 minutes. It's a little more expensive. Comes from Resin Pro. It's a part A, part B. And it's yellow. And it works really well. But I wanted to do it the same way I did it the last time for you guys. So then we're just going to dump our pearls in here. I'm not going to do many of those. Just a few of those. And then all of these in here. You see I've got pearls going everywhere. That's the worst part about this, is they do go everywhere. Okay, and then you're just going to take these pearls and go around. I'm losing them. Just go around and smash them into the silicone putty all around. You want to get them in there good, because if they're not in there, they're not going to shape your mold. Always make a mess. Always have them everywhere. If I used the other resin that gave me more time, I wouldn't have to rush. But like I said, this sets up so quick. If you don't get these in there, you're just going to have a plain mold. And you really got to press them in. I'm going to be picking up pearls for a year. I'm losing them all. I really need some over on this side. Like I said, you got to really get them in there. Pearls are the hardest to work with when doing these molds. Anything else, you can get in there a whole lot easier. But to do a bubble mold, got to have the pearls. And you can see it's already starting to set up. Really just trying to get them in there everywhere that I can. Not working so great. Yeah, these just don't want to go in there. I think our work time is about up on this, so we've just got to leave it alone. This is why the other is so much better. All right, guys, we leave that alone. Takes maybe 20-30 minutes, and then we can start popping them out. I'd have loved to have some more in some of these spots. But it's set up. All right, guys, I'll see you back when it's time to take these out. Hey, guys, I just realized that the video had stopped. Don't know what happened to it, but I got all the pearls broke loose. I used this little tool. I don't know how much of it recorded, if any. So I just broke them loose. Now I'm just getting them out of the mold. Yeah, it had only took maybe 15 minutes for this mold to completely set up. Oh, I'm going to be picking up pearls forever. I have them everywhere. Pearls don't like to stay in one spot. They like to do their own little thing. So I'm probably going to take some tweezers and pick the rest of these out of here. So I'm going to put you on a brief hold, come back, and we will fill this up with some resin. All right, guys, I'm back. Let me see if I can zoom this out just a little bit. There we go. We'll just move it around. I did take some hot glue and I put together the pieces here because this fell apart on me. And I'm just going to take this hot glue and I'm going to go right around the outside near the bottom because I want to reinforce this. Silicone does not stick to anything but silicone. So it comes off of these sheets really easy. So I'm just putting a layer of hot glue right around the bottom. That way when I go to fill this with resin, I don't leak everywhere. And this is a very important step. Do not leave this part out. You will have resin everywhere. I gotta get another glue stick. All right. There we go. I hate these glue guns. Anybody else have trouble with these like I do, or is it just me? Okay. And I'm trying not to move this. I'm just giving it a good liberal amount of hot glue all the way around it. And then you can test this with water to make sure it's not leaking once you get this done. So I'm going to put you on a brief hold again and get this finished. Maybe. All right, guys, we're back. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pour some resin in this. I mixed up 6 ounces. I'm going to do about 40 gram. I'm going to see if I can get it to do somewhat of a Larimar type of thing. Don't know if it'll work out, but it doesn't matter because this is just our temporary piece to make our permanent mold. Okay, and then I am going to put in 1 gram of enoki. It's quite a bit. Hmm, 0.8 is good enough. And that is the Octopus Fluids Enoki Resin Ink. And I'm going to stir that up. I watched Julie Cuts on Pouring Your Heart Out do this Larimar technique, but I don't have my notes up here with me that tells me her recipe. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate on what I'm doing. So I don't even quite remember how she did it. So okay, I think that's about mixed up. I don't want streaky. I'm just going to dump that in there. May need more. I'm not sure how much this is going to hold because we just kind of threw it together. I'm just hoping this doesn't leak. I did not check it, but you should do as I say, not as I do. When you're making these, fill them up with water first. Put a little water in there because water is a whole lot easier to clean up if it leaks out than resin. And then if it leaks, you know, you can put some more hot glue around it. It took me a minute. All right, let's clean that stick off. See, I just Got a little streak there. I feel like it needs more. Let's do 20 more gram. Okay. And where's that enoki? That's not enoki. I could tell because it didn't have the little bead in it to shake. Okay. Let's do about 0.4 maybe. 0.3. There we go. 0.3 will work. I think 0.3 will be plenty. And like I said, I don't quite remember how she did it. I wished I did. So I think the Larimar's pretty. She does this little colorful one. And it's really, really pretty. Okay. Pour that in there. Give us some more. Just didn't feel like that first was deep enough. And it could have been too, yeah, I could be putting too much. I don't know. Now I do know she uses 20 gram with 2 drops of her bloom paste for this technique. Where to put my paper towel? So that I do know. All right. So let's do 20 now for the bloom, even though I don't quite need it yet. Okay. Where's my bloom? Is this the one I'm using? Yes. All right. 1 drop, 2 drop. And that's the bloom for pouring your heart out. Just gonna mix it up and kind of set it to the side. Okay, now I'm not going to use that anymore. She drops colors, so let's do some Octopus Fluids alcohol ink. And I'm just going to drop colors here and there, and however it turns out, it's just how it's going to turn out. So I'm just going to grab different ones. That was red wine. This is emerald. Deep sea. Ocean. Marigold. Caramel. Lagoon. Plum. Just trying to fill in all the holes. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Now I'm going to take some of this clear and I'm just going to find the center and I'm just going to push all that out. I'm going to save a little bit. And I'm going to take this white that has the bloom in it, which needs mixed up a little more. And I'm going to take this and just go around the edge. This is just going to help those colors kind of push back to the center. Okay. I'm getting all this out. It's hard to say what we're going to end up with, but who knows? Might be pretty. Then we'll take the rest of our clear and hopefully fill up our mold. And we're just going to pour this right over top of that white on the outside. Now I'm just going to pour the rest right in the center. And I think our mold will be filled full enough. You don't want to fill these all the way up to the top because then you will end up overflowing your mold. And we are needing to make this piece to make a permanent mold. Okay. Now I'm going to clean that stick off. And I'm going to get my little tool here. And I'm going to try to get some of this into those bubbles. Because I really want this mold to show our bubbles. Since that's the whole point of this mold. And you can see that side over there is a little lower than this side as far as how I've made it up. So that is it. I'm going to leave that alone. Put this over here to drain. Not sure how that'll turn out, but we will see. Where is my torch? I gotta clean my table off, guys. I got stuff everywhere. I don't know if any of these have any. Yeah, that does. Just going to pop a few little bubbles here. Okay, and that's it. Come back and we will start trimming this up, demold it, and start on our permanent mold. I'll see you in the end. Hey guys, we're back. So This has cured, and this is just, like I said, it's just a temporary mold. So we are going to get it off of here and demold this. And hopefully it didn't move any under the piece and will be flat. And it is. So that's good. Sometimes you have to worry about it, like I said, wrinkling up if you don't tape it down. So we are just going to pop this out of this mold, temporary mold. See if it turned out. I'm not worried about damaging the temporary mold because we're going to make a more permanent mold. You can see where that pulled apart. That's where I've got the hot glue, which should come off of the resin. And we'll have some trimming up to do, it looks like. Oh, very pretty Larimar. And we've got our holographic effect. So I'll go around and you can use a scalpel. I've got these nail trimmers that do really well because you can really get down in there and go around this and get all of this excess off if it doesn't come off on its own. Actually turned out prettier than I thought it would. And it's a little different, the little bubbles. The last one I kind of put on an angle. This one I left straight up and down just because I didn't want them to be the exact same mold. And I see there's a little of the silicone in these. Take your little tweezers and just, where's that little thing? I lose more things than I can keep up with. These work really good, these little pins. You can get right down in there and just pluck all of that silicone that stayed on there off. And then that gives me more access to get down in here and get those extra pieces off. And I've got different ones of these. I may have to use the scalpel to get down in there. Be careful, don't cut yourself when you use this thing. See, it is sharp. Just trying to get all of that silicone out of there. That one's a little stubborn. I'll see if I can pull it out. Those aren't my grapes. Oh, I lose everything. I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. I only have 4 or 5 pair of those. I'll have to dig out another pair. Anyways, guys, I'm going to take and just continue to clean this up. And then I will come back and we will make the permanent mold. This is a really pretty piece just all on its own. So that extra silicone in there. There's a little bead. I must have missed one. And if I can't get it all out, that's okay too, because I'm going to pour this into a silicone mold. And I'll straighten the mold up afterwards. Alright guys, I'm just going to put you on a brief hold, clean this up, and we'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back. So, the next thing we want to do is we have our piece that I've cleaned up the best I can, and we need to know what to make it in. You can make it in a pan, but it's very difficult to get out. What I like is I like these mold houses that I got. These are 3D printed mold houses that I bought off of Etsy. If you have a 3D printer, you can make your own. This is just a 1-inch one because it's going to be big enough to cover my piece. I've got plenty of room around it using this one. Let's see what size. This is maybe a 7-inch one, I think. I bought multiple sizes because they're not very expensive off of Etsy. But they work great and they're easy to pop out. So I use contact paper. Contact paper does awesome for me. I just need to make sure it's big enough to fit my mold piece and my housing. So I'm going to get my housing on here. I like it to be just a little bigger. And that's good. This is to make our permanent mold. Because you see, we destroyed the temporary. Most of the time, the temporary stay together. I think it was that silicone. I won't use that again. I just wanted to buy it, see how it was. I will stick with the Let's Resin brand or the, what is it, Resin Pro? Resin Pro Eye Gum. The Resin Pro Eye Gum has about a 20-minute or more working time. Takes a lot longer to cure, but you don't have to rush like I was with that one last night. Well, if I can get this sucker apart. That's the worst part about this stuff. You can also use the clear transfer vinyl paper. I have some of it down at the house I was going to bring up here, but I just keep forgetting. Contact paper usually, once you lay it down, it will lay flat. Now, I'm going to put my piece on here, and I'm going to press it down the best I can because I want this to stick to this contact paper. I want it to stick all around it because I want to get the least amount of silicone under there as possible. Okay, then I'm going to take my mold housing where I want it, and I'm going to press it down. Now, if you have room, you can take and move these up and put other little pieces around it, but I'm just making one mold. And I'm going to press this down onto this silicone, onto this contact paper, because I want it to stick also. Now, you can see that pulled loose pretty easy. So I'm going to heat up the hot glue gun, and I'm going to go around this to make sure that I seal it in. So give me just a minute to get the hot glue gun heated up, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. I see it starting to drip. So I'm just going to go around this mold housing if I can. Well, I thought it was starting to drip. I'll give it a few more minutes. Anyways, I'm mixing my silicone. What I like is the Nick Pro. Nick Pro silicone rubber. This is a part A, part B. The hardness on this, you can see right down there, is a 20A. For a silicone mold like this, you want to use a 20A or a 30A. The higher the number, the more firm the mold. I like a good firm mold, but I like to have a little bendable, little flexibility with it. And a 20A or 30A. I wouldn't go any less than that for a mold like this. If you're doing an inlay, 0, 5, 10 will work perfect. Molds that you need to really be able to be flexible and pop in and out, inside out, whatever, I would use a 1015A, something, you know, not very high and a shore hardness. This mixes just like resin, 1-to-1. I did 200 gram of part A, 200 gram of part B. This does have to be measured by weight, not volume. Measure it by volume, you are likely to have something that will not cure. It is made to be measured, like I said, by weight, not volume. It is self-degassing, so the bubbles come out on their own. I like these big cups. I think they're 1,000 milliliter. Just because of I can mix up large amounts of silicone, and the silicone, once it dries, it just pulls right off, and I use my cup over and over and over. Okay, let's see. Are we ready now? I just want to get a good seal all the way around this. Guys, I'm going to try not to put my big head in y'all's way as I go around through here. Because I want to get all the way around this whole mold housing, and this will just pop right off once I'm done. It peels off. Because like I said, this housing is made from a 3D printer. Alright guys, I'm going to put you on hold because I got to move my head across through there and finish this. Alright guys, I got all of that glue around it. It's hardened up. Now I'm just going to go over this piece very lightly with this little terry eyeglass cloth cleaner, because of I don't want any fingerprints on that where I pushed it down. Now, got my silicone mixed up. I mixed up a total of 400 gram, 200 part A, 200 part B. I'm hoping that's enough. Pour slow and pour from up high, and it will help to pop all the bubbles. I do not want a mold that is full of bubbles. And I'm hoping this is enough. I think it will be, but it's just all according to how thick you want it on the back side of this mold. And I may have to mix up more. I have one mold, and if I had a round housing like this for it, I could have cut down on like 600 gram of resin or silicone use. It was ridiculous the amount of silicone I poured off of that mold, just because I didn't have a round housing. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I actually got a little bit more in here, but I'm not sure that we need it. And I can't think of anything else that I need to make a mold of. So I think I'll just pour it in here so I don't waste it. Oh, I got a leak. Once you get a leak, it is very difficult to plug it up. So I'm going to try my best to get this plugged. If I can keep it from leaking and get that glue to harden up, you usually got to do it pretty thick to have any more. Got another one on the back side. Not near as bad though. It's just a little bitty thing. It won't be anything to plug that one. Okay. I'll have to keep watching this. Make sure I get it completely hardened up without it leaking everywhere. That's the worst thing when you spring a leak. But it happens quite often. Now, silicone only sticks to silicone. And this is a silicone spatula, but I find them very easy to mix up the silicone with, and they clean off so well. And I keep this one to the side. I only use it for my silicone. I don't use it to mix resin or anything else. It is only used when I make a mold. And I'm still leaking. It's going to take me a minute to get that plugged off, I do think. Okay, where's my gun? I might have to get another glue stick. That's what I mean when I say once it leaks, you have a very difficult time getting it to stop. I'm just going to put a pile of hot glue on this and hope that I can get it to harden up and prevent it from leaking anymore. I should have checked this before I started filling it up. Good thing is hot glue does set up quick. The back side's good. I've just got this one I have to worry about. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my little microphone. Hopefully, I wonder if I blow some cool air on that, if it will help cool it down. I'm just blowing some cool air on this, trying to get that hot glue to cool down enough so that this will stop leaking. Because I don't want it to leak all of my silicone out. And it looks like it's hardening up. I think that might help. I use that to blow the extra mica out of my molds when I dust them. Got a little spot back here too. Uh-oh. I'm still drip dropping. Alright, I'm going to unplug this so don't waste the rest of my glue. I wish they had on-off buttons on those things. But it's set over here to where it can drip. I think that's going to hold it. I'll have a little cleanup to do. I don't know what I did with my... There it is. Threw my baby wipe back in a container. Clean that off there. Alright guys, and that is it. We will let this sit. I think it takes about 4 hours for this one to set up, I think. And then we will demold it, clean up the mold, and we'll have our final piece. So I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, it's been a few hours, and this feels like it's completely done. It's not leaving any fingerprints or anything. So we are going to peel this off the back. And we did have some overage that we will have to cut off. Not much, but we do have a little. And that's how easy contact paper comes off. Now, I'm going to pop off the hot glue that I put around it. And I like to have my little scalpel. And I just pull this and I go around the edge. And I'll go all the way around this and get off all of those extra pieces. And it comes off fairly easy. It gives a good clean edge. And you can save these scraps if you want. I actually have a scrap bag because on molds that are going to be bigger, you can use these as fillers so you're not mixing up as much silicone to waste to make the mold. Now around the edge, I'm not going to cut like that. I'm just going to take some scissors, probably, or I might take this around it. It's just hard to tell. But this is why I like these, because I can just pop this right out, and it's so simple. I actually have a 3D printer. I've just never used it. I also have a laser engraver, and I've never figured out how to use it either. I will eventually one day, I'm sure. All right. Now, let's just pop this out and see how our mold has turned out. I've got some more overage there. Not much, but I like to get it when I see it. It makes it that much easier. Okay. There we go. And I've got a piece there I'm going to have to cut off. And a piece there. Now let's see how our holographic turned out. Perfect. I had a place on my, it transferred over, but there's our holographic mold. And like I said, I'm just going to go around through here, find the parts that need trimmed up, and just trim all of that off. I just don't want it in my way when I go to make something with it. That's why I trim it all off now, if I can even get it. There we go, that one just pulled off. Now I know there was another one somewhere. And if it's just a really thin piece, you can actually just pull it off. There it is. Thin pieces we'll just pull off, and you don't even have to cut them. Okay, and then around the outside here, we can do the same thing. We can just take our scalpel, but to me I think it's going to be easier with scissors, and just go around and snip all of that extra off, because we don't need all that excess. And this just takes a minute. I mean, you can see how easy that's coming off, how smooth and straight. All right, guys, that's our mold. Okay, I will see you back for the next video.